Rene. I'm going to give you some video feedback on your project 4. First thing on the logo mock-ups that you have, they look pretty good, but just remember when you're trying to sell it to a client, you want them to be able to really see the logo on there. So I would suggest maybe just showing the bottom part instead of having both pieces. Just focus on the bottom part so that you can make that graphic bigger, and then they can really see the logo on the clothing itself instead of having it smaller and then showing both pieces, since you don't have the logo on the top part. As far as the hang tags go, be careful when you have type going down like you have it, because then it becomes difficult for people to read, especially when you have it going down and then you have it reading straight across and then you have it going down, because it makes it very hard for people to try and follow that, and you really want to make sure that they can read it as easily as possible. So maybe just have it either kind of like turned on the side, like if you were to write it straight out, and then just kind of like rotate it so that it's going down. And you'd have to tilt your head to read it, but at least it would be going the same direction. So same thing basically with the business card, having type going down, again, very difficult to read. I want you to start thinking kind of deeper into things. So especially with this one here, like if somebody's going to be writing in kind of like that script that you have there, then they're definitely not going to be writing like an individual script letter and then going underneath it and then an individual script, because it's meant to kind of flow together. So especially if you're using this type, you would never want to have it one letter below the other, because this is meant to basically be written as one straight line of type. Let's see, as far as the front part of it here, the main thing that I would say here is just be careful about your alignment on things. You have this part centered, and then you have this part aligned to the right, and you can probably even make this a tiny bit smaller, because it looks like everything's just kind of like bunched together. So if you make the individual letters a little bit smaller as far as like the actual font size, then it will give everything a little bit more room, so it doesn't like everything's just kind of like crowded together. Also be careful, I think you have a drop shadow, or I'm not sure what's going on there with the blur or a drop shadow. I don't know what you have going on the side of the shape here, but I'd watch out for that also, because what it does is it kind of looks like a drop shadow. So it gives the illusion that this is kind of like floating above the white part, and then it makes this weird illusion like, why is this piece floating above the white part there? And then it creates this third dimension, but then everything else is 2D, so it doesn't really make sense why one part of it would be kind of more 3D, kind of like hovering with the drop shadow, and then the rest of it's kind of flat. So, but I'm not sure what that is. It looks almost like you actually blurred it or something, or I don't know. And then the other part that I wasn't sure about was the N underneath of the logo. It just has the N there. I'm guessing what you did was the N for naughty and nice, but it doesn't make a lot of sense because the company is risque, so the N is kind of out of place. I don't know if you meant to take it off or if that was intentionally it's supposed to represent the two, so I really wasn't sure why you did that, but I would definitely leave that part off of the business card, because it just confuses, well, at least it confuses me. It'll probably confuse other people too, I'm sure. Let's see, anything else on those? No, let's go ahead and move on to the ad. So with the ad, I like the idea that you tied in the fire with the slogan here, ready to renew the flames in your life, and then you had the flames to go with it. You can't really see the flames too well, so I would bring those out a little bit more, because it's like really, really dark on this black color here, so watch out for that. And also, I think you have a CMYK black, which, yes, you would use for print, but just make sure that you're aware of when you're using CMYK versus RGB, because for a lot of stuff in this class, we were using RGB since you're not literally going to be printing it, but we're only going to be viewing it on the computer. So I wanted you to use RGB for that. For the slogan on top here, I would put a question mark after it, because you're actually asking a question. You know, are you ready to renew the flames on your life? So I would follow that with a question mark, and then it would continue down here with, you know, the second part of it is for you. I mean, you can do the ellipse, the 3 dots, but I think a question mark might work a little bit better with that. I think that's the main comments that I have on that. As far as cohesiveness, you know, you stuck with a good color palette. You didn't mix up different colors or anything. You have the red, the black, and the white for everything. I think that is it. So other than just, looking at, don't write going downwards and take the N off. And those were the main things. So good job.